Welcome to another phenomenal demonstration inside the sci-fi building at the wonderful Star and Moon Studio. The man on the stage said to the audience, "My name is Zach Robertson, and I'm one of the people in charge of the many projects we at Star and Moon Tech are working on." He paused for a moment to draw in the attention of the audience. Behind him was a curtain that hid the entire stage, which slowly began to rise up to show off interior models of a home and restaurant. Near the two displays were numerous metal cylinders on either side of the two models. The announcer casually walked over to the model of the home and stepped inside. Every day, many of us go about our day doing a variety of tasks that take up a large number of our days. Instead of pursuing our interests and doing things that we enjoy, tasks involving housework chains us from doing anything worthwhile. Heading over to the restaurant model, the man continued, "When we are finally able to leave our prisons to enjoy some relaxation, the experience is often stressful." Many in the crowd murmured agreement at the scenarios that were presented relating to these issues. Going to the restaurant and having a negative experience is dreadful, but often not the fault of the workers who have to toil over several tasks with little assistance. The man's face looked sorrowful as he painted the image of the hard-working and overworked food industry worker. No longer do we have to carry our pent-up emotions due to our boring lives, but instead we can all walk further into the future together. The man's voice changed to a joyful one as he pointed to the metal cylinders on either side of him. Gas began spraying out as the cylinder casing slowly lowered, revealing what appeared to be robots. Each one was humanoid in appearance, but there were significant differences between them. On one end of the spectrum, the robot had the proportions of an attractive woman, though the body was apparently metal, and on top was a large monitor. At the other end of the spectrum was a beautiful woman without any clothes, casually standing in front of the crowd with her eyes closed and not seeming to be bothered by her nude body being on display. The audience began talking all at once when the robots and woman was revealed. Reporters were furiously scribbling down their thoughts and as much detail as possible. Several of the reporters were staring at the woman, forgetting to perform their duties. I'm sure that many of you are surprised and wondering what is going on. I have the supreme honor to present to you, for the first time, our line of robot assistants. No longer will you need to struggle each day with menial tasks and will instead be able to assign your assistant to perform such things." He grinned at the audience, who were clapping and standing up to give the announcer a standing ovation. There was an extended period with the audience clapping and cheering the accomplishment of Star and Moon. The man waited until enough time had passed before he raised his hands to indicate for them to settle down. As if someone had turned a volume knob down, the audience slowly quieted. When the man was satisfied, he said, "In the past, people have claimed to have made such conveniences, but we know that these were only useful in limited settings. Mainly in factories would you see autonomous robots, which are mainly able to perform repetitive tasks. But as you can see, we have created a wide range of robots based on your needs." Each of the robots, aside from the woman, began to lift up their heads and also move their arms. Like some choreographed dance, the robots stepped forward and bowed to the audience. "Our line of assistants come in various models," he explained. Walking over to the model with the monitor as a head, the announcer said, "With a basic model, even those just entering the middle-class lifestyle can enjoy having some relief. This model is our A-001B. The A stands for autonomous and B for basic. As you enjoy your day, The A-001 can go about performing most tasks that a human can, in addition to using its monitor to display video and images. For those who can afford to put in some money for an upgrade, we offer an advanced version which will allow it to perform more tasks. He continued to talk about the other models that slowly looked more human with their appearance and performance ability. As the robot became more human-like, the price increased drastically. At long last, the announcer arrived at the woman who still had her eyes closed. The stage became dark as all the lights were turned off until only a single light was on, showcasing the woman and the announcer. When he turned towards the audience, his voice could be barely heard, and those sitting had to lean closer to the stage. For those lucky to have the required capital, my team has worked tirelessly to create a robot that's indistinguishable from a person. In addition to being able to perform tasks that even several people would have difficulty in performing, this model is able to experience things that were thought to be restricted to humans. The man said, in such a way to convey the trials and tribulations his team had to go through. "Chastity, could you wake up for me?" the man asked the robot next to him. Replacing the cold, emotionless expression she had, the robot began waking up in a manner which appeared similar to a young maiden being woken up from her bed. Her eyelids gently lifted up as if she was coming out of a restful sleep. Lifting her arms, she stretched, which accentuated her proportions. Turning her head, she smiled at the announcer and said, "Mr. Robertson, how are you doing today?" Instead of answering her query, the man raised a hand towards her. The woman looked at the hand and placed hers on top of his, and lively stepped forward. "Chastity, could you explain to the audience what you can do?" he asked. Moving her hand off from the man's hand, the woman turned towards the audience and said, "Hello, my name is Chastity, and I'm an autonomous robot designed by Star and Moon Tech with the purpose to help improve your lives. In addition to all the things that a human can do, my process and capabilities allow me to function past the limits of a human." On the stage, the lights all turned back on and illuminated the surroundings. Instead of the house and restaurant models, there was a monitor, a steel beam, palette of weights, and violin. Chastity walked towards the monitor and then faced the audience. At Star and Moon Tech, we have created a new range of devices to make things convenient. A unique feature we have incorporated is the ability for autonomous robots to interact with these items. These items can be accessed by ARs through the wireless technology. The monitor next to her turned on without anyone pressing the power button. Seeing such a thing brought about a murmur of approval as people were impressed by the action. These are some of the simple tasks that our ARs are able to perform, Chastity stated. Slowly, the monitor revealed the typical screen that everyone was used to, the glowing green monitor showing that the computer was on. What surprised people was the speed at which the computer turned on. Many of you have noticed that the computer has completed the booting sequence at a fraction of the normal time required from previous models. She gave them a mysterious smile, hinting to future reveals. Compared to a faster boot time, I believe this reveal will be more to your liking. After seeing what was on the screen, the typical layout on a computer, the audience saw the old layout minimized and show a new screen that caused everyone to clamor in confusion. Ever since the creation of the mass-produced computer, consumers have had to deal with the dull green and black screen. In addition, the ability to execute programs has been cumbersome, making the experience overall something that consumers had to endure. Pointing to the screen that showed a clean and colorful layout, she continued, "With the cooperation of several teams and myself, we at Star and Moon Tech have created a brand new operating system. We present you the latest in compute technology, the MST OS." Seeing a breakthrough in computer technology, the audience went wild. Everyone stood up and began shouting and cheering as they saw the next chapter in computer technology being revealed. After spending several days inside the convention, Han and his group had decided to meet up with others to view what was happening in the medical building. "I still can't forget about the reveal we saw in the sci-fi building. Those robots looked so cool, especially the one that looked like an actual woman," Jennifer said. Jennifer and his mom had been talking about what they had seen for days. "It's good to know that you enjoyed that presentation. I know that Zach had spent a lot of time practicing for that," Scarlett said to Jennifer. "You know that man?" Ivy asked Scarlett. Nodding to Ivy's question, Scarlett answered, "I've worked with him on numerous occasions. He may look like a confident man, but he sometimes gets anxious too easily." Raven giggled at Scarlett's words. "I'm sure that Zach was pacing back and forth before he had to go on stage. It's likely the reason why he had Chastity do so much of the talking." "That robot looked like a real woman. I don't think I would be able to tell one of those apart from an actual person," his mother exclaimed. Having that model of AR being indistinguishable from people was our ultimate goal when we started on that project. Scarlett smiled at his mother's words. "The ability for humans to move forward is often limited by scarce resources of those capable of performing specific tasks, often creative and computation related. We're hoping that ARs like Chastity will help push society forward." "Is it true that she helped to create the new operating system?" Han asked Scarlett. "Yes. What people don't know is that Chastity created nearly the entire system, with researchers only adding in suggestions considering Chastity is still developing," she said. "Really?" Ivy asked. "Chastity is a very advanced model, so something like an operating system is pretty easy for her. Models similar to her have been working in all of Star and Moon international branches for several years," Raven revealed. "Han, everyone, over here," a voice called out to them. In front of them, Claire and Hannah, along with the rest of his friends, were waiting in front of one of the conference rooms where the medical branch of Star and Moon was going to reveal something big. Compared to the futuristic look of the sci-fi building, the interior only looked several decades ahead of most hospital interiors. It gave a feeling of looking very sanitary, the way the walls were completely smooth with displays behind the glass. As Han and his small group reached the others, he said, "It feels like you could spray this place down with soapy water and it would be all set." "I know, right? This place is completely different from the hospital our dad works at," Claire said to him, with Hannah nodding her head next to her. "This place is amazing. I get to try out the simulation floor, and the trainers were able to point out inefficiencies in my movement," Lily said to him, looking excited. "Next time, I'm definitely going to tackle you." "It was pretty epic, Han," Sam said to him. "I'll tell you about the cheerleaders later." He winked at Han while pretending to look like he was being subtle. Lily rolled her eyes after hearing Sam's words. "But seriously, I talked with some of the trainers, and they said that there's a special program for bringing in teams from around the world to participate in a training camp with other teams. I think we should talk to the head coach about this. Sam looked serious as he suggested the idea. The presentation will be starting shortly. Please make your way inside, a voice said. Han looked around to spot the speakers, and Scarlett said, "The sound is caused by the vibration in the glass, allowing the control center to direct communications anywhere in this building. It's a feature we'll be rolling out to other hospitals in the near future." Raven headed into the conference room and then directed everyone to go up a set of stairs. It was similar to the previous presentations they had been to. Going up the stairs, they reached a private area where VIPs would get a better view of the presentation. Taking a seat, Han looked towards the stage just as the lights were beginning to dim. Once the lights were completely turned off, the room was in complete darkness for several moments before a spotlight turned on and a man appeared. Welcome to the Medical Research and Technology Building on the beautiful Star and Moon Studio campus. In the MRT branch of Star and Moon International, we have developed a wide range of medical techniques and equipment to help our wonderful doctors around the world to have the ability to save as many people as possible. Ranging from the ability to look into a person's DNA sequence and detect genetic issues that may affect a person to curing various diseases around the world, we have dedicated ourselves to making this world into a safer place, the man said at the audience. He waited for several moments before starting again. What would you think of the ability to take the cells in our bodies and make them fight for us more immediately, instead of relying on the natural system that has been available to us since the life began on this world? What would you think of transforming each cell into a soldier that will fight for us in the race against the invasion of diseases, external threats constantly trying to invade our bodies, natural breakdowns of the human body, and the rush of death coming for us and making our lives so short? Listening to the man speak, the room was silent enough to hear the drop of a pin as it hit the floor.